welcome to this edition of Red Devil Roundup, where we're previewing the football team here at Owensboro High School. I've got my first athlete up, and I'm going to go ahead and let him introduce himself.
Tinsley, Owensboro High School, defensive nose guard.
Kamari, what grade are you in?
I'm a senior this year.
Okay, senior year, obviously, big expectations is that last chance. Kind of talk about a couple of your goals for this upcoming season.
Always get a sack at least one game.
At least one game, okay. And what's it going to take for you guys to be able to do that this year? Because I know you're rebuilding a lot on defense this year.
We got new pieces that are stepping up into big roles, different guys that we use for different situations during the game that make sure we get stuff done.
Why do you think this could be a special year for Owensboro High School football?
Mainly just because we've grown up together. We've been playing together since Pop Warner, special group. We're close friends, and we've been working together for a long time.
Talk to me about what kind of defense we're going to see out there today.
We're going to see a strong defense, fast, pursuing the football all the time. Always try to find who has the ball and try to get to him as fast as possible.
What's it been like to deal with some of the weather challenges this year? Because it's been a very wet, as you can see, it's kind of sprinkling. I don't know if you can see it on camera right now, but a very wet and a very sun. This is actually the perfect example of what humidity looks like.
We always just got to go, no matter what the weather is. We can't let that determine how we come out and practice. So no matter heat, water, rain, whatever it is, we still got to come out and focus on what we got to do.
Talk to me a little bit about this year's schedule. A tough schedule. The Red Devils always play a tough schedule. I mean, what's the point if you're trying to make it to state every year if you're playing a bunch of cupcakes? But kind of talk to me about some games that you're specifically looking forward to. What are the games you've got circled on your calendar?
Definitely the Bowling Green game. They're a big rival that we're going to play after the Catholic game. Catholic game is definitely a big one. But we're mainly focused on us and what we can do to determine that outcome of that game. Come out and support us. Root on the Owensboro Red Devils this year.
All right, coming up right after the break, we'll hear from our next Red Devil football player. And we're back here on Red Devil Roundup, where we're featuring the Red Devil football team, and I've got another Red Devil football player, and I'm going to go ahead and let him introduce himself.
Malik Mundi.
Malik, what position do you play for the Red Devils?
I play wide out and outside linebacker.
So we've already heard a little bit about the defense this year. Very aggressive, want to try to be fast on the ball. Obviously, you're replacing a lot. Let's talk about the offense, though. What are you guys kind of looking to accomplish this year on the offensive side of the ball?
We're trying to throw in the element of surprise and develop a passing game a little bit, because last year we were landing rush for 1,800 yards, which everybody's going to think to run, but then we got to throw in a pass every now and then.
Every now and then, yeah, you got to keep the defense honest. Obviously, the Red Devils are a huge running team, always have been, because, heck, if you can't stop it, then why try something else? Exactly. It's your senior year. What are your goals coming up for this football season?
My ultimate goal, I want to be undefeated, but, the ultimate goal is a state championship, and I want to have at least 100 tackles this year.
You come from a long line that have been in and out of Owensboro High School throughout the years. What's it mean to you to be a Red Devil?
It means everything. Growing up, you want to be like everybody used to watch and come to day camp with and everything, so now it's my time.
On the offensive side of the ball, you do have some talent, as always, but you also have some experience. Kind of talk about that a little bit.
We got our starting quarterback from last season back. We got a running back. So, our two back there are pretty experienced.
Exactly, they're experienced and pretty fast, and then you've got a pretty senior offensive line as well, right?
Oh yes, we have I think 3 returning offensive linemen and just 2 second teams, but they were just busting their butt just as hard as everybody else was, so they'll be ready.
Coming up right after the break, we'll hear from head football coach Jay Fallon. And we're back here on Red Devil Roundup, where I have head coach Jay Fallon with me. Coach Fallon, just kind of talk about some of the goals for this season. Obviously, they're always high with Red Devil football, that's assumed, but kind of just go into a little bit of detail for me.
Yeah, well, we really try to set our goal, and we say it all the time, from the first day of weightlifting until the last day of the season, from January till hopefully the first weekend of December. We want to get a little bit better every day. So that's our fundamental goal. That sounds like coach talk, and it sounds cliche, but we preach it every single day. We don't want to get our eyes caught up on, as you mentioned, we always have big goals, but we don't ever want to look ahead. We don't want to get caught looking ahead, so we try to preach that every single day. Let's get a little bit better every day. Of course, we have the same goals we always have. We want to compete to win in every game. We want to compete to win the city county. We want to compete to win Class 5A District 1. And we want to put ourselves in a position to make a run in the playoffs.
Talk a little bit about this year's team. First we'll start on offense.
Sure. We returned 7 guys that got significant playing time, including 3 offensive linemen, quarterback that started all 13 games, and running back that started and carried the ball for 1,800 yards last year. So we feel like we're going to be able to move the ball a lot. We replaced a lot of receivers. These guys have really worked hard this summer, so we feel very excited about the offensive side of the ball and where they're at going into the season.
And then on the defensive side of the ball, I know you had to replace a lot, but you've got guys, as always, here with Owensboro that are willing to step up.
Yeah, we replaced 9 starters that had started collectively, most of them at least 30 games in their career. So that's a wealth of experience that we graduated. And anytime you do that, you're going to have some growing pains. There's going to be a learning curve. We saw that in our scrimmage on Friday night. We got a lot of work to do in the defensive secondary in particular. We returned some guys on the D-line that have played. We feel pretty confident about where we're at that position going into the season with senior nose guard Quamari Tinsley, who I feel is an all-state caliber nose guard. We, of course, returned Malik Mundi, a linebacker who was our leading tackler from last year. But we've just got it. We're going to have to get some reps, and we're going to have to get some games under our belt and get some game time experience for some of these younger guys. But they've worked hard and done everything we've asked them to do.
It seems like, being at the scrimmage on Friday, you guys got a lot of players out, which is always a good thing.
Always good. We've got a ton of freshmen. It's a huge freshman class, but right now on the roster we've got over 80, which is huge. At times this summer we were up above 90, which is, we always joke, it's a good problem to have. It's hard to keep them all moving. We want to keep them all moving all the time. But yeah, numbers is always a good thing. It just generates depth, and no coach will ever tell you he's got too many.
Kind of talk about the character of Landon as well as some of the other players.
Well, Landon moved here as a sophomore. He wasn't satisfied with his role in the offense as a sophomore, and we always talk about you can go one of 2 ways in the offseason when you're not satisfied with your role. You can make excuses and say the coaches aren't playing me, or you can become motivated, and that's exactly what Landon's done. He's worked extremely hard. He's got a ton of character, as you mentioned. He comes to practice every day and works hard. He's a leader on and off the field for us. We got a ton of guys just like that on the offensive side of the ball. Zach Gross has worked his way into becoming having a very calming leadership presence in the huddle. Those offensive linemen have started a ton of games. They've got a lot of experience. This is a fun bunch of guys to coach. They do everything the right way.
What would you like to tell people at home coming into the season?
Just come on out and support us. We're going to be young. We're going to have some growing pains, but we believe we can compete and have a chance to win every single game just like we always do, and we're looking forward to another great season.
Well, there you have it. That's Coach Jay Fallon. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again on another edition of Red Devil Roundup.